Yeah. So about 20 minutes ago, the girlfriend. Oh, hello everyone. So about 20 minutes ago, my girlfriend pointed out that today was Friday
Mm.
and not Saturday, and my lack of knowing what day it is may or may not have been related to the amount of drinking I did last night. Possibly, perhaps. And so I'm thinking we'll just do the open room from 9 to 10. You might see me melt down about the new because what happened is that I fucking take a day off because of Thanksgiving, and I wake up and I look at the shitty fucking American news, which I so fucking hate the American news. And then suddenly I just like click over to BBC, and all of a sudden it turns out the fucking world is ending. And let me share this with you all in case you haven't heard the
Sure.
fucking news.
I
Uh,
not. I just watched a little bit this morning. Uh,
this
what's
is
going
from the
on?
this is from the BBC, of course, and it is a new COVID variant of huge international concern. Yeah,
Yes.
and so this is the first time I literally just found out about the story maybe 10 minutes ago,
Yeah, it's
and
South Africa, right?
yeah, South Africa. It is exactly everything that you would think that could go wrong has gone wrong. I don't want to be
Mm.
hyperbolic about it, but in a country that has 42% of the population with one jab, but it's and because people just don't want to get the vaccine, this mutation has popped up in South Africa. There's been several countries who've put on travel restrictions
Hmm.
to help
Yes.
mitigate the spread of it. But it's already in Belgium. It's already in Hong Kong.
Oh
We
man.
know this fucking story is that the the door's already open. The horses have already gone out, and now it's just mitigation. And this, once again, this little line here, experts from WHO, World Health Organization, are meeting in South Africa to discuss the most heavily mutated variant and described as the worst I've seen so far by one expert. But that's only one expert. And so
Mm.
we'll see. They were saying that the last variant was going to be, super, super bad. But this one may not be good. This might actually be like the real deal in terms of bad. Pandora is happy. Thank you, John Hudson. That's exactly it. So once again, this is not the normal show at 9 o'clock because
Sure.
this is my brain wasn't working right due to alcohol from
But
yesterday.
your hair is looking great.
It's yes, this is
It's
exactly
magnificent, sir.
this is how I wake up basically, right
Mm.
here with minimal preparation, hands through the hair like I just don't care, and this is me. This is me.
I guess we shouldn't be surprised. There have been other variants. We were up to Delta. I guess this will be Epsilon. Um,
Yes.
there is a I think, to be honest with you, if suppose that vaccinations are so far are not effective against this variant, just hypothetically,
Yeah.
even if we had a vaccine right now and 75% of the population all got vaccinated relatively quickly, it would still spread like wildfire.
Well,
And I think we're in a COVID world now. I
yeah.
think this is it. We've got to wear masks, hand sanitizer, um, maybe wear bondage leather gear or latex. It might not work, but we'd feel happier. You know.
I feel what you're saying, Big Zebra. I feel the
Hmm.
leather on my skin right now, even as we speak. Um,
Yeah.
the interesting thing is, of course, that the spike, with most of the other mutations, it's a spike protein is what
Hmm.
has gotten the heavy mutations. And scientists right now are saying that the vaccines will probably give us some protection. Will give us some protection against the new variant. And we covered a couple of days ago about new medicines that are being developed about attacking not the spike protein itself, but what's actually the DNA of the virus, which
Really.
is hopeful. Yeah, yeah, we covered this a couple of. I mean, sometime last week maybe.
Mm.
But there, as we know that there are different ways of defending and attacking the virus. And so hopefully, and the fantastic thing about the strategy of not attacking, defending against the spike protein, but going actually into the heart of the virus is that you don't have to worry about mutations to the spike protein. So, you know,
Well, virus DNA changes too. So, but I'm happy that they're always trying new methods.
yeah,
Even the mRNA is a radically new method
yeah.
of.
People have been working on the technology obviously for a while, but
Mhm.
this, yeah, the
Oh
first
yeah,
major vaccine using mRNA stuff. All right, so that was
how's
my that was
yeah.
my epiphany this morning, and I spent at least as I was waiting to get my second cup of coffee made, I was cursing at American news because they were talking about, of course, Black Friday, and I was turning to my girlfriend. I was like, the entire species could be down to one person, and that one person would be trying to buy something on Amazon with their last fucking breath. It's like, I need that vintage T-shirt.
Yes, yes, that's exactly. It's funny how Amazon of all people is benefiting from
Oh yeah.
shutdowns and.
Well, I mean, I think it's common that there are some whenever there's a disaster of some kind, some industry, some company will find a way to make money off it or benefit from it, either by intention or just stumbling onto it. What's up, Tobin?
Sure.
Hope you're doing well.
I'm hanging in there.
Yeah, yeah, good, good. You have a good Thanksgiving. You guys have a good Thanksgiving, basically. Yeah. I was just rambling about the new fucking COVID variant. I'm sorry. You just
Yeah,
hit
no,
me.
that's messed up, man. That is
Yeah,
messed up.
Tobin, why did they name the new variant after you? I don't understand.
What? No,
Yeah,
Yes.
they're calling it
they
the
did
Tobin.
not.
Yeah.
No
No, they
way.
didn't, but I like the idea. I think it would help. It would make you even more famous than you are now.
Yes.
uh, that's
Sorry,
good.
that was really
You got
random
me.
and
You
silly.
got me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
You can count on me to be silly, irrelevant, and maybe a little bit stupid.
So once again, if you're all just tuning in now, this is not the normal show. Obviously, I thought it was
Mm.
Saturday. It's Friday, so we just doing this from like I don't know 9 to 10 today, and then I'll continue my whatever I do during the rest of the day, which is probably just writing funny jokes and reading up on stuff. John Hudson, you never bought anything on Amazon?
Whoa.
Anything? Wow, I didn't know that was legal. How is that possible?
Maybe we should start making Amazon sucks ass T-shirts and selling them on Amazon. See how that works.
Somehow I think that might be flagged. That might be flagged. Yeah, eBay. You buy lots of stuff off eBay. I could see that.
Mm. eBay lots, says John
Yes.
Hudson.
Tell you what, Amazon has been pretty cool, especially being out in the rural area. Like it makes it to where we have to travel less, especially like for one item. Whenever you just want to go to the store for one freaking item.
Mm.
Yeah, I could see that, dude. David says, "Happy Thanks Boxing Day." Indeed, sir. It is the day
Mm.
after Thanksgiving, and it's Turkey Boxing Day or Thanks Box. Oh, we'll go with Thanks Boxing Day. That's good. That's good.
420 says, Big Zebra, I'm looking at you. What did I do wrong?
Yeah, I don't know. John Hudson says he had a hangover. Yeah.
Oh, Simply Secular Dave points out that we should buy something on Wish.com just so we can know what it's like to be screwed by them.
I don't even know what Wish.com is. It's another site to buy shit that you don't need, basically. I mean,
Yes, and it comes from China, and I think they do a lot of building by Uyghur prisoners. You know.
oh, really? Huh? Yeah, that's not
Well,
good.
I say that I don't know.
Right, right. It's yes, they're. I doubt that there are a lot of worker protections in China.
Maybe
That's
not. But they're a communist country. I thought it was all about the workers.
you know, yeah. There's a lot of talk.
Hmm.
There's a lot of talk about communism, but not really. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
I don't know. It appears to me like they're more of like a capitalist like society. Like whenever I see movies from there and stuff like that, I hear, although the movies are dubbed over into English, so I don't know how much it's lost in translation, but it seems very much like here. I don't
Well,
know.
it's a if there could be a shittier system than ours, it would be mainland China. Because they don't have the rule of law, right? So we talk about how the states in a lot of other countries, how um, corporations and religious groups, have warped the legal system, so due process gets undermined and justice gets undermined. Well, it's much worse over there because of the one party state, and it is, and this is one of the problems long term for China. One of the reasons why China has done so well economically speaking is because there's been a lot of low hanging fruit, right? There's been
Yeah.
once you get the restrictions off of like over 1 billion people and you start letting them act in their own self-interests, then yeah, your economy is going to blow up. And you have other countries coming in and investing in yours. We're talking about the new variants, and now I'm talking about the social economic implications of industrialization in China. I don't know, because that's what we do here. But hope you're doing well, Oz. Yeah,
What's up, Oz?
no one wants to hear me talk about Red China. Yes, see, Red China. I was about to like Red China.
Yeah.
As against to Taiwan, real China. But see, that's wrong too. I'll get banned in China for that.
Yeah, and I think China will probably invade Taiwan within 25 years, probably a lot sooner.
There,
But I think it's going to happen.
there are windows of opportunity, and we've talked about this before. China, once again, people are talking about how powerful China is. Yeah, but in relation to the other, in relation to its neighbors and to other global powers,
Hmm.
the growth curve on China's power, once again, comparatively, is plateauing. It's not rising as fast, and with its incredibly stupid foreign policy. And once again, when you compare the United States of America and our stupid foreign policy, um, China's foreign policy over the last few years has been incredibly stupid too, in terms of bullying its neighbors and creating incentives for smaller countries to band together to form a united front against China. So yeah, yeah.
What is it in it like Korea or something like that? Like they were protesting heavily, like trying to keep China out. Like they got to gain their independence. Like Britain had them under uh
Well,
their
Hong Kong,
constitution.
the Hong Kong was a
Oh,
British
Hong Kong
colony.
caught. That's right.
Hong Kong was a British colony, and yeah, and it was one of those shitty colonial deals, treaties when China was exceptionally weak. I think it was during one of the Opium Wars, which is
Hmm.
basically a drug war that the British just didn't feed its empire off of the money from slavery. It also did it from a drug trade too. Here go the term, the Opium Wars in China. So I believe it was one of the Opium Wars that they got China to agree to give them a special deal on Hong Kong for like 100 or so years. And of
It
course,
was 99 years.
99 years.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
so strange. It seems weird to me, but
Well, man, we have a deal with Cuba, and we have Guantanamo Bay in Havana. So it does seem weird, and it is weird, right? But the nature of the species of our niches is these kind of crazy idiosyncrasies, right? So that yeah, there's a little bit of Russia in between Poland and I think it's Estonia. I'm not sure. Like there's a little sliver of land there that Russia officially owns, and we have a naval base in Cuba. Britain owned or rented or leased out Hong Kong for 99 years. So yeah, it's strange. It's weird.
just let people have there's space, you know. I mean, I get borders and stuff like that. It helps us, you know, geographically, you know, when we're like trying to navigate the world and stuff like that. But
Yeah, when I was a big L libertarian, one of the things that appealed to me was definitely the anarcho aspect, the anarchist kind of aspect of big L libertarianism, which is basically open borders.
right,
One of the things you don't hear about from so-called libertarians is their because let's face it, here in the states, big L libertarians, they're just basically Republicans in disguise, right? That's all they are.
Mm.
And so, but when you actually talk to them about what they want or what they agree with, so do you agree with open borders? Well, I don't agree with open borders. Well, do you agree with, all these other things that big L libertarians are, the are supposed to agree with, like free markets, free ideas, and most of them do not. They fall short, and they're just Republicans under in sheep's clothing.
right.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And why hasn't the free market figured this stuff out yet? Why hasn't it figured healthcare and all that other stuff? Why are we so privatized and
That's
monopolized?
once again, I mean, the Northern Europeans, there is a solution to the question, and that the free market can only deal with it's good with certain things, but there needs to be some kind of curbs to it, right? There needs to be, like no one's going to say that we should free market the army.
Well, actually, they do. What about Blackwater?
Yeah,
They
those are
have,
horrible. I
yeah,
mean,
it's horrible.
when you look at the history of mercenary armies,
Mm.
it's horrible. So like privatizing the military is a crazy idea. It turns out that having privatized healthcare is similar, and that it doesn't work. It works out horribly for the average everyday person. Oh, Dr. Tom Foolery's here.
Tom,
Dr. Tom
Hey,
Foolery.
it's we have two doctors now.
We start talking about capitalism and socialism, and you say it three times, and Dr. Tom Foolery appears. That's what I've
Mm.
heard.
But and shouldn't we all admit that we're really living in mixed economies anyway? They're not. And then, so when someone suggests something be regulated, we not go into a panic.
Well, that is one of the talking points for the right, of course, is that you just
Hmm.
have to bring up the word socialism, and people don't
Mm.
know what it means. The people the same people who don't read the Bible and don't understand their faith are the same people who think socialism is, comparable to stage 4 cancer, right?
yeah, I think they're just gonna give you a little box and give you, you know, these said items, and that's all you get. You can't have nothing else.
Right, right. And
You're
and the
under
thing
my
that
thumb.
420 atheist. Thank you, 420. I'm glad that you read some of my posts. I wrote a Poe the other day, a satirical piece about Melania marrying Chris Evans on the sly. That's on my blog, Laughing in Disbelief.
I'm going to look that up right now. I thought I was up to date on your blog
No,
there, sir.
well, yesterday I did sneak one in, sneak in a post before people came over and everything. So,
That's how you got your first kid, sneaking one in.
well,
Sorry, that was really crude. That was just awful.
so yeah, they're just talking about some, and we can talk about anything once again. I woke up, for those of you just tuning in, I woke up this morning and I was clicking around the American news cycle, found nothing interesting, and then I went on BBC, which I don't even know why I don't start on with a BBC site, BBC News. It's about the new variant that has popped up and looks pretty nasty. So that's what is animating me this morning, besides the hangover from yesterday.
So this variant is it's spreading pretty good.
Yes. Once again, as we've seen from other variants, right now we're still in like the initial fog the fog of war with regards to this variant. No one knows anything for sure, and information is difficult to really hard information is difficult to come by. Um, but
Mm.
it seems to be, yeah, I'm just looking at the BBC site right now, and borders shut down as new coronavirus variant emerges, and emergency meetings. It supposedly started out in South Africa, but like I mentioned earlier, it's already in Belgium, it's already in Hong Kong. So if it isn't in the States now, I imagine it, will be pretty soon.
It's unfortunate.
Yes, I would agree with that. And I was talking with my 19-year-old boy who, teenagers, she can't tell him anything to begin with, right? So he got the J&J vaccine and he still hasn't gotten a booster shot. And I'm like, this is even before the variant. I found out about the variant. You should really get, your booster shot. And then once actually just before the show started, I'm like, it's bad when I think it's bad when I have to text him and his mom in a group text because I try to avoid contact as much as humanly possible. But it's like, there's a new variant. Getting a booster shot.
Just
important.
saying.
Yeah. And his response to me is literally, Dad, I already told you I'm getting a. I'm sorry. He's like, Dad, I already told you I'm getting a booster shot.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, but obviously you read that part, but you didn't see the part about the new variant, which was actually kind of important.
Frightening. I remember reading about the Black Death and how it swept through Europe 3 times, and it took about a third of the population each time.
Yeah, it
Which
was. Yeah, I know I've dragged out that book by
you've got a
Barbara
book about.
Tuchman. What's
Mhm.
that?
You've got a book about the Black Death.
Yeah, about the it was a period in Western European history that the Hundred Years' War was going on between England and France, and so you had the Black Death going on, you had 100 Years' War going on, you had mercenary armies all over France doing crazy shit, and so
probably the Renaissance was trying to get started too, right?
well, that was during I think the 13th century. So that was during I think it's the High Middle Ages is the period that took place in.
Oh, right, okay.
So yeah, the Renaissance, of course, it began in different areas in Europe at different times, but in Italy, I think typically around 1500 is around that time. It's when the modern era is considered to be born. 420. Drinking last night, 420. I hosted trivia. Well, that's good, dude.
Oh, that's wonderful. I used to write trivia questions. I got my start as a zebra on Second Life, and there was a trivia community there. And I used to hold impromptu trivia sessions where
cool.
I'd come up the questions on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
And the strange thing is that I would find other people using the questions I wrote. Because I would save my questions to use later. Sure. And then I discovered other people were in the audience writing down the questions.
Bastards. Bastards.
Write your own goddamn trivia questions.
Yeah. I remember as a kid, I had a big book of trivia.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of fun.
Oh, there was a whole series of those. They were wonderful. They had 3 authors and so-and-so's big book of trivia or something.
It was a big red book. It was hardcover. And
yes.
What's up in that Imaginary God?
It sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I remember there was a lawsuit over stuff like that where Trivial Pursuit basically just took a book like that someone wrote and copied pretty much all the questions, and they got sued, but then Trivial Pursuit people won because you can't copyright facts.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can just tell them they're lame for stealing.
Yeah.
Oh, Margaret Atwood is getting a stamp in my home country.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's something to do with her Handmaid's Tale,
Mhm.
which I years and years ago when I was a kid I read it, I think. And I remember thinking, well, this is paranoia about right wing people trying to control women
Mhm.
and trying to make a point. And I didn't think it would become a little bit more true every year, but it is becoming true a little bit more every year.
I'm going to do another little bit about the new variant. I'm just reading from this BBC article, and
Mhm.
the Israeli Prime Minister said on Friday it is, quote, on the verge of a state of emergency regarding the new variant, and that he would, quote, act fast, strong, and now. One case was detected in a person who returned from Malawi, according
Mm.
to Israeli media reports, quoting the country's health ministry. Another two suspected infections were yet to be confirmed with test results. All three are said to have been fully vaccinated.
Oh crap!
Yeah.
Mm.
But it would be interesting to find out whether or not they've been boosted because you find people, if you look at the data among cases of breakthrough infections, they're typically with people who haven't gotten their booster shot. So I wonder if the new variant is similar, but we don't know yet. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
Jesus. Oh, I remember the TY. Sorry, this is off topic, but
Sure.
TYT did a report that I saw this morning, and
Hmm.
apparently there are a whole bunch of places in the United States where women are getting arrested and imprisoned because they had a miscarriage.
Yes, I've heard about that.
And yeah, and just this notion of, well, you did a bad drug like heroin
Yeah.
or something, and
Well, yeah.
that caused your marriage, your miscarriage. Therefore, you're guilty of murder.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the religious right is consistent with its insanity, at least in this way. There's no
Mm,
excuse. You did, I don't know whether it's murder or manslaughter or what they're calling it. I guess they're calling it murder. And that's right. Yeah. Especially, if you're in a red state with one of these crazy, abortion laws, anti-choice laws like Texas or
yeah, yeah.
Mississippi.
I
Um,
had an idea to help Americans with this problem. You know how in Texas it has that crazy bounty law,
yes,
and I
the
was wondering if
Fugitive
people
Fetus
could.
Act.
Yeah, well, I was just thinking, what if people could gum up the works by all over the U.S. going to their doctors and asking for an abortion, even though they're men.
Oh, that'd be funny. I like
Yeah,
that.
from what
Uh,
I understand, there's been a whole bunch of people who have been totally pranking them, like calling
Yes.
them and sending emails. Yeah.
yes. Oh, and the porn, the Shrek porn. They send Shrek porn to Texas authorities to report an abortion.
Yes. Well, yes, that is a way of gumming up the works.
Mm,
That's beautiful. Those people are doing good work. Good work.
Oh yeah, but
the
you can
Lord's
still
work.
shoot people in a protest and be just
Yeah.
fine. That's right.
You sure can.
Yeah. But it is positive that those, the court case in Georgia, those three murderers actually got convicted for murder. So, 420, done
Yes,
well.
isn't that
Yay.
great? A
Done
little
well.
bit of justice, you know.
Yeah, a bit of justice there.
Hey, there's
I
420.
had
Hi,
to come
420.
in. Hey, Big Zebra, Grant, Tobes, Andy,
Hey, man.
my boys. It's my boys.
Mm.
You
Hey,
seem abnormally happy / drunk.
Yeah, I'm a little happy.
You're a little happy. All right.
good for you. Hey, can I say hi to Moon Medi in the audience? Thank you for joining us.
Who am I looking at? Who's in the audience? I haven't
Oh, a
noticed.
friend of mine. She might be lurking, but
Oh,
she's
okay.
awesome.
Okay. Cool. Cool.
Mm.
So, Sam, what in Australia? What's the COVID situation like? You guys aren't in lockdown or anything, are you?
Nah.
No, no, I didn't
We
think.
hit New South Wales is like 90 something percent.
That's good to hear.
So yeah, I can't see I shouldn't say that actually. I don't know what new strains will be like and things like that. Who knows what the future holds? But
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. I don't think we'll be going back into any sort of lockdown anytime soon.
So Sam, I'm gonna guess that you haven't been watching. Well, I don't know, man. It's like I don't know.
That's why as soon as I went to say it, I thought, yeah, I shouldn't say that. That's stupid.
Yeah.
Because who thought we'd even be here where we are
Who would have
in the
guessed?
first place? Eh?
John Hudson. I just want to, your son-in-law's aunt is in the ICU and not responding to the treatment. She was a COVID denier. Yeah, I'm going to a funeral tomorrow with a bunch of COVID deniers. And,
Oh God.
so I am pretty much maximally, that's not a word. I'm at the top of my, because I had my.
You're maxed out.
I'm maxed out on my resistance. I'm healthy. I felt like I could go to the ceremony. And now that I'm looking through this fucking new variant, I'm thinking, I don't know. I got my concern.
So, is it a bad one?
It doesn't look good. Yeah, it doesn't look good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think we should develop a party COVID strain so that when you catch it, everyone just wants to party. And it doesn't have any really bad side effects.
Yeah.
It just makes you party. I like where you're going with this.
I do what I can, I can't handle the science, though. I love science, but I'm not a scientist. So.
If sickness could just become designer drugs, that would be awesome. Yeah.
You know what I found about the N95 masks is that I've had more than one snap on my overly large head. Like I put one on and like the string snaps. It's happened to me more than once. And the first time I realized, I got to carry more than one mask with me. You have to have some kind of redundancy with your masks.
Oh, there she is. Hi, Moon Baby.
Yeah, they're a bittersweet thing for me, the old masks.
Oh yeah.
Because I love them. It's funny since all this has happened, I've grown fond of my mask. I feel protected, even though it doesn't work like that. It's more stopping my shit going. I don't care. It's a placebo, whatever. I like it. I feel safe in my mask.
Well,
but I can't breathe in the fucking things. And I know they say it doesn't affect it. They may be right. I may be getting the same amount of oxygen, but I don't feel like I can fucking breathe.
Yes. But I just thought of a way to get right-wing people to wear the masks. You attach the masks to those big white hoods that the KKK wear. And if you incorporate a mask into that, they'd be happy to wear them.
I think you're right about
that. Well, they wouldn't have
a choice, them white
really, would they?
Yeah. Well, Sam, you're lucky that you're in the southern hemisphere, and it's summer. It's getting into spring, going into summer. For us up here, it's nothing but staying indoors.
Yeah.
Man, we're literally like a week away from actual summer beginning, and we have not had a warm day yet. This year. It has been cold and raining. It's raining right now. Like I was about to go and put a jumper on. I'm that cold, and we're about to hit summer, which normally here by now we're sweltering.
Oh, this is good news for you though. So your country won't be on fire for another 4 months.
No, well, it seems we're going into some sort of mini ice age.
Oh, well, that's not good.
No, and don't mean just Australia. I mean globally.
Cooling off period.
Yeah, there's, and obviously it's, it's contentious, but there's quite a bit of I'm going to use the word speculation because that's how I view it, I guess. But that one of the main results of the temperature rising is that we actually shift into a mini ice age.
I think I can hear your someone's scratchy microphone. Might be you, 420. I don't know. So I was looking.
What is it?
I just
Sorry.
the mic. I think as you're handling the microphone, it kind of like does the scratchy thing, like that. Whatever that is, that's the scratchy thing. So yeah, Little Ice Age. I just Googled it, and from Britannica, right? Climate interval that occurred from the early 14th century through the mid 19th century. Of course, there's been some points that the Ice Age got worse, and crops didn't do well, and just made whatever social political issues going on made them worse. So yeah, it's a thing. So I guess you're trying to tell me that global warming doesn't exist now. We can just keep shooting coal into the
Oh no! It's still coming. It'll happen. So I need to find the thing that I was reading.
Yeah, the global warming actually can cause the shutdown of certain ocean currents that will cool down areas.
Right. Can it like negatively affect the Gulf Stream? Because one of the reasons why, like, let's say the Northeast here.
Yeah, the Gulf Stream is one of the ocean currents that it could shut down, plunging like UK into an ice age effectively, because that's how they stay reasonably warm despite them further north than most of the United States.
Yeah.
And the problem is that deniers get whiff of these little bits, don't understand it.
I think your internet connection may not be the best, 420. You have frozen. But yes, let me just bounce off what's.
Hang on.
Okay. Is
that probably because I went off the page?
Right.
Yes, that too.
Australians drink can handle more liquor than even Canadians. It's amazing. We really look up to them. And it's true too. They can knock them back like nobody's business.
Am I good?
Yeah, you're good, man.
Yeah, we don't mind a drop. See, and I don't generally drink. Like, I'm not one of those through the week drinkers. I don't have a glass of wine or anything.
Yeah.
I just drink on occasions, generally.
I only drink to feel happy, but because I hate myself, I don't want to feel happy. So that's what keeps me.
What the fuck?
Using my brain. That.
Well, alcohol kind of scares me. I think any time I did it when I was young, I always overdid it. Always overdid it. So it was always a bad experience.
No, yeah.
So,
I had a cousin who would play a dice game with me, and it got to the point to where like one morning I woke up and they had gotten me wasted, and I found out there was no rules to the game. They were just getting me to drink, really heavily, and that's basically whenever I learned, okay, I cannot let other people influence me. I have to go at my own pace if I'm going to consume alcohol. Because trying to keep up with like a 200, 300-pound person, and I'm like, $1.25.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
not going to work.
No, it doesn't.
I will say that a bad night of drinking is still better than a good day at church.
Yes.
Yeah, speaking of which, that's the only place I've ever had alcohol.
At church?
Yeah.
Yeah, there are some of them church folk who will.
Yeah.
It occasionally
Every now,
happens at Catholic church. Sorry, doctor, I stepped over you.
yeah, every now and then at the weekly meeting of church people, whatever they call that, um, they would have everyone go up and do wine shots.
Right during
So,
communion. The sacred sacrament.
did it transmutate into blood in your mouth?
Nah. I've been to one of those.
Transubstantiate, I think it is.
Yeah,
What is it?
yeah,
Transubstantiate. There you go.
yeah.
Do
I
you
did go to
remember
one of those places.
Yeah. Do you hear the great Tom Lear song about the Vatican rag?
I don't think I have.
Oh, you've got to listen to it. It's a lovely sort of poking fun at Catholics. 2, 4, 6, 8, time to transubstantiate.
Dude, that's
Do whatever step you want if you have cleared it with the pontiff. And it goes on, and it's wonderfully phrased. And
That's great.
yeah.
I think I've heard other people talk about it, but I haven't actually.
I'll find a link and put it into public chat here so that people can check it out.
Yeah. I've heard the song before, but it's been a while.
It rings a bell. It does.
I'm more familiar with his songs like Poisoning Pigeons in the Park or Elements
Yes.
or stuff like that.
I have a Tom Lear album somewhere on CD, of course.
Oh, on CD.
Yeah, and okay. Oh, and the Elements song, where you sing all the names of all the elements of the periodic table.
Was that on the Animaniacs? That sounds like an Animaniacs song.
Well, it was a Tom Lear song originally, and often celebrities will sing it because, like that guy from Harry Potter, he sings it because it's a challenge as a performer.
Oh, interesting.
Tom Lear, Vatican Rag. There it is. Okay, here we go. Oh, it's not even 3 minutes long.
Awesome.
Yeah, okay, it's going into the chat, and enjoy it if you're so inclined.
Okay, cool. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
I do what I can.
Right. Well, that's all you can do, right?
So.
No, I could do nothing.
I have an interesting story from yesterday.
Oh, please tell.
My brother's family was doing Thanksgiving with my brother's wife's group, and same thing for my other siblings. But since I'm just a single guy with no in-law on that type, I just went along with my oldest brother's family. I was riding to the event with my nephew because he was the one who was giving me the ride, and he started off a conversation we had in the car with. So, I know you're an atheist, which is always a good beginning to a conversation.
Sounds like a joke. Sounds like a setup.
And he actually is starting to question his religiosity.
Excellent.
Which is the best continuation from that start of a conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I kind of enjoyed that conversation where it was like, the particular thing that he was talking about was like, did you know that the 666 in the Bible doesn't actually refer to the devil? And we started talking about that and how he was starting to go through a process of not really believing all the aspects of the narrative.
Yep.
So, yeah.
That's fantastic.
Is he born in?
Yeah. His mother's family is very much Catholic family. My side of his family is basically ELCA Lutheran.
Mm.
So he was raised in Lutheran church with influences from Catholics. So
Good on him.
Right on. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you get that first step where you start questioning it and you can move on from that. It was big for me. Like as soon as like I was like accepting the title of being an atheist, I began looking at all the other issues and all the other topics and going, where am I wrong on this? Where, you know,
he phrased it as, I think I might be going in your direction, is how he phrased it.
Very nice.
Mm.
So, yeah.
get them to think about it.
Yeah.
Well, the good
And
thing,
the
Tom,
fact-
really. Oh, go ahead, Sam.
I was just going to say, and it's just awesome that he reached out to you.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the importance of being an out of the closet atheist, right? If you can do it, then please do it. Is that people will use you as a resource. People will come to you. Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't particularly hidden it at all. I also don't necessarily try to shove it in anyone's face.
Yeah.
So it's just
That's cool.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. I mean, since I've come out and like this is like my birth name. I mean, and so there has been a couple of family members and an old friend from the past got in touch with me. It has spurred some interesting conversations, that's for sure.
That's good, dude. That's good.
So with my atheism, I don't speak of it to anybody, right? I don't actively bring it up ever. But I take every opportunity that comes by. If it's presented or you talk about God or anything like that and I get the opportunity, I'm voracious. Like, almost crazy. Like people walk away going, whoa, that guy should be on a soapbox on a corner somewhere.
Maybe it's Speaker's Square in London. Speaker's Corner, right? Speaker's Corner in London. Yeah.
So,
yeah, I like to shit. I like to make jokes and shit on it quite a bit.
And so because I can't very well speak against the other side forcing it down people's throats if I'm going to force it down people's throats, but take the opportunity.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Sometimes you use the justification of takes two to tango. So if the other side insists on doing it one way, you follow suit.
Yeah. Exactly.
I was once at a party where someone started talking about their religious background and current faith, and it went around the room, and each person talked about what they believed in and and what their religious notions were. And then the smartest guy in the room, who was working on his PhD in mathematics and solved some weird puzzle that was sort of like the Rubik's Cube, but that wasn't right in front of us,
Mhm.
that nobody else could do. And then he started talking about his fucking tattoo and how it came to him in a dream and how he thinks it holds some special significance. And I didn't say a word, no matter how fucking ridiculous it was. And and I didn't start talking about religion when it came to my turn. And somebody said, "Well, Steve, what is it that you believe in?" And I said, "I don't have a religion. I don't believe in the supernatural." And it was like someone had sprayed the room with conversation killer.
Yeah.
And it was dead silence.
Well, you're better out. You're better than what I would have done, taking notes and then starting off with, "Yeah, you know what, you're full of shit. The cosmological argument's a ton of shit. Thermodynamics doesn't work like that. Who made God? No, it isn't self-evident. This is why you're all full of shit."
Well, I would love that.
This is why people don't say. I really do try to create an atmosphere of people not saying stupid shit around me.
Well, my problem is that I'm a little bit. I'm not a complete social retard, but I'm sort of socially incompetent to a degree. So I was able to get to a party in the first place was something of a miracle. So I didn't want to take everybody down.
Oh, yeah. And I joke when I say that, but it would have been my first instinct would have been to go down the line, and just like, wrong.
Dude, I would have loved to have seen it. I
You
wish
do
I
not
was
understand the thing that you're speaking of.
there. Yeah. And you, genius with the degrees in math, what the fuck are you talking about? Fucking tattoo, spiritual significance? Fuck you.
Well, I mean, it's it becomes basically this philosophy 101 stuff, right? Like, so what does that mean when you talk about spirituality? Because you can have secular. I think you'd have secular. If we're going to define spirituality as finding meaning in life and feeling connected with your friends and society, then yeah, you could definitely say that there's a secular spirituality out there. But if you're talking about magic, that's when I think we have two very different. This is where we disagree.
Yeah, spirituality is one of those words that gets, it changes depending on who you're talking to. Like I have that problem with the word belief and faith as well. Like it's just like I have to understand that person's idea of what it is before I can even comment, because it can get thrown off in some weird ways. Like I could have spirit for my home team who's playing a ball game, but I don't have a spirit.
Me and Andy are sitting here
my aunt uses spirituality in the way of she believes the Bible and Jesus and all that stuff, but she doesn't go to a church. So she's simply spiritual.
Right.
Even though she basically believes whole cloth everything of Christianity.
Yeah.
So, I have to tell you all, because it's fantastic news. In a way, still probably crazy as a loon, but it's good news. So it turns out Richard Madsen is actually atheist.
Now, how did that come out, Sam?
So it turns out that people have misunderstood. He didn't realize that people were misunderstanding him either. That he doesn't believe in any supernatural being or God. There's no God being. His God is a social construct more than anything. It's not a tangible thing. And we're saying, well, why are you calling it God? He's like, well, what else do I call it? And we're like, well, you should, like, we get it. What else would you call it? But you shouldn't be calling it God, because we've all thought you believed in a God. We all put you in the theist basket, and you happily went there. But like, if you look at your own beliefs, you don't believe in a God of any sort. You just believe that in basically panspermia, and, which you
Yeah,
might be crazy, but
I thought he
I
just liked
you're not a
arguing with both
theist.
sides.
I can tell you, I
Well,
do a show with Richard
yeah,
once a
that's
week
true.
on Wednesdays,
Okay.
and trying to
But
understand his ideas, you really have to sort of just
oh,
slow down and listen. But give it a try. He's really, really interesting and really a genuine guy, which is why he's
mm.
loved by the atheist community.
Yeah,
and I'm telling you,
I'll talk with
if he
him.
wrote it, if he wrote a book, if he wrote it into a book, it'd be a great fiction. Like,
well, I will tell you
I'd
this: is that when you write down your ideas, yes, drink
Mm.
ideas, you actually clarify your thoughts, right? So good writing means it has a greater chance. It means that you're a good thinker. Being able to clarify your thoughts on paper does, it's a feedback loop. It's a feedback loop so that it does help you think better. I
but
have one more thing.
it was linked up. Just to finish that point, because it was linked to what we were saying, was we then got on to discussing how all the different versions of God, so not just all the different religions, but then philosophically, theism, deism, pantheism, um, and on and on and on and on. So even God, like, has to be defined before the conversation can even take place.
Right, and you got to be able to, and the thing is, I mean, a good definition of God, um, defining a term without using the term in its definition is difficult to begin with. Right, I was listening to, once again, Sam Harris and another neuroscientist talking about the definition of consciousness, and those two guys, really far smarter than I am, had real difficulty trying to define consciousness without using the word consciousness or another weasel word to
Yeah, a synonym,
See, that's the
basically.
thing. Like with philosophy and stuff, I think people are making it way too complicated. My philosophy, my definitions only have like 3 or 4 words. Like there's very little to each of my definitions. And I think people make it way too convoluted, and I think it has something to do with, like, people having knowledge and being able to be paid for their knowledge, and they try to make it difficult. Actually, I'm speculating. I don't
Well,
even
No, no,
know.
no. Well, I
But
do want to. I want to bounce off what you just said, Tubman, because I've been wrestling about Daniel Dennett and Consciousness Explained, a book that came out like a long time ago, and about the multiple drafts. This has something to do with what we just talked about, and about bees and hives. All right, I had a breakthrough the other day when I was talking to my buddy about consciousness, because he was talking about quantum stuff, and about how to understand consciousness and how mind comes from brain. And like, you know what? I think that's a dead end. Thinking about, trying to do some kind of Deepak Chopra kind of bullshit analysis of consciousness with quantum. I think it's more like ants, more like an ant colony, that the behavior of the ant colony seems intelligent, right? But it's more like our brains are like all these ants stuck in a biomass in our heads, trillions of ants stuck in our heads, and we get this kind of behavior that comes out, right? And then I thought about it, and then my buddy said, well, with beehives, it's like you have different directions. You have different bees doing different dances, and once for different kinds of, see, where I'm going with this. But when you have, but there is, when one bee's dance goes over a tipping point, that's the behavior the hive does. So our brains aren't like ants, but they're more like giant beehives with trillions of bees dancing all at the same fucking time. And behavior is whatever, successful bee or system, right, crosses the line, crosses the tipping point. So that's why the multiple state tenets, multiple stage, his consciousness theory is actually all about fucking beehives. That's how I'm framing it in my head. Multiple stages.
I get that analogy. Yeah.
So it's like trillions of bees in one biomass, all doing different kind of processes. And when one of the processes kind of like gets over this tipping point, that's the behavior. And that's how I was able to piece it together the other day. And that was my big intellectual, I guess, accomplishment on Friday. Oh, no, on Thursday.
There was an amazing
Nice.
book that you would really like, I think, Dr. Kennard.
Yep.
And I'm looking it up. You probably already have it.
I don't know.
It's called The Origin of Consciousness and the Breakdown of the Bicameral
I read
Mind.
through that, dude. I read through that. Gillian Janes.
Yes.
He had this crazy idea, Janes did, right? He thought that the brain was basically, it's not real, right?
Well, I think it's not proven. Like,
Yeah.
for the whole book, I just thought, how would you prove this to anyone's satisfaction? And I couldn't come up with a way. But I read it from cover to cover, and I thought, hey, really brilliant, interesting idea. Maybe there's some truth to it, but
Yeah, I can't get into it. I don't think I have the book. I think the book I jettisoned in one of my divorce journeys. Right? I mean, there was a lot of books I got rid of because they're just heavy and not really necessary. But yeah, I did read through that. I did have it in my personal library at one time, and it's a crazy theory of consciousness.
it's wonderful, though. I recommend reading it.
On that note, everyone, I'm going to close down the shop because I got a bunch of other things I'm going to do today. It's been an hour. So once again, I would suggest humbly that if just to be aware of the new variant that's out of South Africa that's already spreading around Europe, and you're probably going to see travel restrictions and other things happening. So just please be aware and be careful and get a booster shot if you haven't already. Even if the FDA hasn't told you you should get a booster shot, I would recommend getting a booster shot if you can. Take care, everyone.
Hey, bye-bye. Thanks for the show.
Wahamala. Bees, man. It's about